Make sure after watching this video, you guys go in the description box down below. If you're a Fortnite head, 2K head, or just a gamer in general, they have the best accounts down there. Make sure you guys buy some accounts. And you guys, please, do not think it's a scam. It is 100% legit. I've tried it myself, so make sure you guys do that after watching this video.
My bitch drive a all white rank. Couldn't hit it if you niggas had aim. Lanes can't call and you lame. You had it and you lost a Hall of Shame. I can buy a Billy, don't talk to me. For a show 150, don't talk to me.
As a fan of the NBA, it's always tough to watch anybody get injured. And seeing Kevin Durant get hurt last night was just really tough and really hard to watch. And honestly, all of my prayers are up to Kevin Durant. We as a basketball community, we're right there for you. You're one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my entire life. And honestly, I wish you a speedy recovery and may God bless Kevin Durant. But now let's go further with this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button down below, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified after each and every video that I post. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. The links are down below in the description box. In this video, we're going to discuss Kevin Durant's injury and how it affects the entire NBA. And first, we're going to start off with how it affects, obviously, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players in the history of the game of basketball. In my opinion, he's not only a top 5 small forward in NBA history, but I believe he's around the top 15 to 20 players that the NBA has ever seen. And honestly, over the last 3 years of his time in Golden State, he has definitely proved that he can get the job done on the grandest stage of them all. And this year he had a huge opportunity because with LeBron James out, I think it was basically a 3-man race to see who is the best player on the planet. And when Kawhi Leonard outplayed Giannis Antetokounmpo and was on a monster tear throughout the Eastern Conference, you looked at the West, and up until KD got hurt against the Houston Rockets, he was dominant. The man was averaging 34 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds on 54% from the field, 40% from 3, and 92% from the free throw line. He was sensational from the second game. At the end, when Patrick Beverley was taunting him and everyone was saying, why is he attempting so little shots? At the end of game 2, that's when he made up his mind and said, I'm Kevin Durant, and he took over the entire postseason. I mean, 50-point games, 40-point games, 30-point games on a night-to-night basis, what it seemed like. And I think a majority of people, or should I say a huge chunk of people that were NBA fans watching the playoffs, were saying that Kevin Durant was the best player on the planet, because with these performances and him leading the Golden State Warriors to what we presume to be the 3rd straight NBA championship and him about to capture his 3rd straight finals MVP, that would have just been icing on the cake to further cement him as the best player on the planet. But this injury, especially when you consider that it is an Achilles tear, that not only hurts him now because of the fact that he can't come back and play in the NBA Finals, but it hurts his free agency decision next year. And honestly, when you look at the fact that he has a player option next year, I wouldn't be shocked if he opted into that player option. And if he does do that, that may affect Klay Thompson's money. And honestly, it may be a situation where the Golden State Warriors might have to let Klay go because Klay wants that max. You know he wants that max. But getting back to Kevin Durant, looking at his entire career as a whole, it really does suck. Because when you look at all the all-time greats, even on the top 10 list, a majority of those players were considered the best player on the planet at least a huge stretch of their career, or at least a 1 or 2 year stretch in some cases. But to see Kevin Durant's career and to see that there was never a legit point in his career where we could say he was the consensus best player on the planet, despite all the great seasons, despite the 2 championships, the 2 finals MVPs, despite the MVP, the multiple all-star appearances, all NBA selections, that really sucks. And I'm not going to say it's going to damage his legacy, but I'll tell you this, it's definitely not enhancing his legacy. Now, let's transition to the rest of the NBA, starting with the Golden State Warriors. Now, when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, I've already kind of alluded to this before. If Kevin Durant opts in which I think is a huge possibility, especially considering this Achilles injury. Not only will the Golden State Warriors be put in a scenario where they might have to convince Klay Thompson to take a pay cut, but if they do so, Klay Thompson might just say fuck y'all. He might give them the finger and dip somewhere else, because for one, he's not getting that Supermax contract, and two, having to take less money for a guy that most likely is going to miss a majority and possibly the entire NBA season. I would be furious having to do that, but I don't know the ins and outs of the contract situation, so I could even be wrong. But if that has to happen, I can guarantee you more than likely Klay Thompson is out of Golden State, and Lakers, you better throw him that max contract, just saying. So when you look at that situation, that is definitely a huge scenario that the Golden State Warriors have to avoid. And also when you look at the rest of the league, look at players like Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler. If any of those players had aspirations to join up with Kevin Durant anywhere, primarily Kyrie Irving to join with Kevin Durant, whether in Brooklyn or New York with the Knicks, honestly, it sucks because now Kevin Durant's hurt, and do you want to take the chance to join with KD when for the majority of the first year of y'all being together, even if he plays, he's going to probably play at the end of the season, and if he can play, who knows if he's going to be the same Kevin Durant that you once knew. And not only does that affect free agency this offseason, but look at Anthony Davis. Let's say Kyrie Irving elects to stay in Boston because of the fact that he's not going to be able to team up with Kevin Durant anywhere, or he just doesn't want to put faith in a player that is coming off of an Achilles injury, which is definitely understandable and reasonable. So if he elects to stay in Boston and Boston says, hey, now that Kyrie's staying, let's make the play on Anthony Davis. Now, are you guys seeing everything that's happening? One injury not only affects the free agency market, but it even affects the trade market with players like Anthony Davis, and that affects the Lakers' plans for this offseason. And the Lakers are going to be in desperate dire straits to get anybody. And if they get someone like a Jimmy or a Kemba, that affects other teams and their plans. I mean, this offseason is going to be completely out of whack just off of this injury alone. And I get it, injuries are very unpredictable. They're things that just happen, but I hate that, bro. I really do hate when injuries have such huge impacts on things that happen in the NBA, whether it's championships, signings, trades. I hate it because injuries aren't something that you can control. For one, it sucks to see anybody get hurt, and all the people that are cheering Kevin Durant's injury, posting about it on Twitter saying that it's karma, all those people can fuck off, because for someone like that, someone that puts in the work, the time, the effort, he is still a human being. He's not just an athlete. He's not just a basketball player. He just tore his Achilles. If he was a normal person that came up to you and told you, hey man, I tore my Achilles, whether I fell down the stairs or anything, you'd be like, damn bro, that's tough. I hope you have a speedy recovery. But because he's an athlete, you want to cheer him getting hurt. You want to cheer him going through pain. That is just sick, and you need to be mentally evaluated if that's how you think. And honestly, looking at Kevin Durant, it really does suck. And I've been saying that over and over in this video because it's the truth. It sucks to see people's careers be altered in such negative ways and have such a negative impact on not just them, but their team and the entire NBA. Because no matter what people think, injuries should never play a factor in anything, because it's not anything that someone can control or anybody can control for that matter. Now, in conclusion, I'll leave you guys with this. I'm going to say something that a lot of people may take the wrong way, but I'm just going to be honest and I'm going to state my opinion. From the outside looking in, I don't have any inside information. I'm not some huge ESPN reporter or anything like that. I'm just a 19-year-old that talks about basketball on YouTube, and I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, Kevin Durant should not have played in Game 5 of that NBA Finals. I'm just going to be honest with you. I do not believe he should have played. I mean, just looking at how he was walking and limping in other previous games in that series, it looked like they rushed him back a bit too early from the injury. And honestly, I didn't even think he was going to play throughout the entire series. And for Kevin Durant's case, putting myself in his shoes, knowing how Kevin Durant thinks and how he acts, or at least how he portrays how he thinks and how he acts, and he's a very emotional person, very sensitive person. I mean, the guy just can't help himself when it comes to arguing with fans on social media. But judging the situation on how Kevin Durant thinks, or at least how he portrays himself to the public eye, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really do think Kevin Durant was either one, pressured into coming back by the alleged rumors and the reports that there were people inside the Golden State Warriors locker room and camp saying that Kevin Durant's not fully bought into the Golden State Warriors winning another championship and that he is healthy and he just doesn't want to play. Or two, he was pressured by coming back because he saw the Golden State Warriors down 3-1 in the series and he really wanted to help them. But either way, he has the heart of a champion, because to see your team down 3-1, he didn't have to play. He didn't have to come back, but he wanted to come back to prove a point, and he wanted to win a championship to prove all the doubters wrong. And all the people that say KD's soft and that he's weak, you better start taking that stuff back now, because honestly, at this point, that was anything but weak. That was one of the strongest things that I have ever seen any NBA player do. And honestly, he deserves everybody's respect, and he's definitely got mine. So you guys in the comment section, y'all let me know your opinions on Kevin Durant's injury and how you think it affects the entire league. Also, you guys, make sure you drop a like down below, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified after each and every video that I post. Follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. All that will be down below in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Peace.